Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura B Floss Tube. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. I have my beautiful Mercantile sampler quilt ready to put the binding on. I quilted it this past week at my brother's and it turned out so beautifully. I'm so excited about how this quilt looks. There's actually several things I got to do to this quilt yet to finish it up. So I need to put a sleeve on the back, I need to do my rickrack trim, and I also need to do the binding. So I'm going to start putting the binding and sleeve on. I do those at the same time. So I will swing you down and kind of talk through what I'm doing, and you can see if this is the same or a different way than what you do your binding and sleeves. All right, so when I put on my binding, I start on the back side of the quilt, and I have my 2.5 inch strips cut and sewn together end to end. I do not pre-press these or fold them or anything. I fold them as I go. I don't pin either, so there's just a couple things that, you know, I'm a rebel, like what can I say? So I'm just going to slip this onto the edge of my quilt, and I have my 1/4 inch foot on my machine. It's the standard stitch length is 2.4. That's just like my normal stitch length on the machine. If I'm piecing, I usually bump it down to 2.2, but for binding, 2.4 is fine. And I'll just back stitch here a little bit. Now I have left, you know, probably a 6 to 8 inch tail, and that's going to help me when I get all the way around to finish up my binding. And this is the side of the quilt. I did, before I flipped it over, I did pay attention to make sure that I knew where the top of the quilt was at, because the top is when I need to start attaching my sleeve. So I like going down one of the sides just a little ways and getting a little bit of binding done, and then doing the sleeve application at the top of the quilt. Now to judge my 1/4 inch, I usually just put my finger right here and back stitch, cut my thread, and then I'll turn it, and I'm going to adjust the quilt on the table and ironing board so I can get the next length of the quilt. All right, now remember, this is the top of my quilt. I know that because I checked the blocks earlier. So I do need to grab my sleeves and get those started as well. I have a curtain rod hanging in my living room that I display some of my quilts on, and it has a brace in the middle, so that's why I do my sleeves in 2 pieces. I make sure that there's a space between them in the middle for that brace that's in my curtain rod. And this is just a 6 inch width of fabric. I have hemmed under both ends, and then I'm just going to flip this together and get it onto the edge of the top edge of the quilt underneath the binding and sew that in. Now I did measure these out before, so I know that it will be pretty close to the middle. I am going to go ahead and make that 45-degree turn on the corner. Hopefully you can tell that I have lots of layers of fabric here. I do have the same binding fabric as my sleeve fabric this time. Sometimes I try to match it to my backing fabric, but I didn't have any left. Just getting all those edges together, picking a point on the quilt to hold. And again, it's just a 1/4 inch from the edge of the quilt. You can definitely pin this if you want to. I've just, I don't know. I've done this enough now that I just don't. And I will backstitch here too. That's at the end of that sleeve, just to give it a little extra durability. Again, backstitching at the end or the beginning of that sleeve, which is on one of the ends, just for a little extra durability. And basically to do this corner, I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip it up and flip it back down. And that's going to give you that 45-degree angle that you need to miter the front corner of your binding. This quilt is 88 square, so that is definitely not the biggest quilt that I have put binding and stuff on. You know, if I'm making a king size quilt, those are like 110, 115. But it's a lot of fabric to wrangle through your machine. It is a lot of weight. That's why it's important to have something to get some of that weight off your machine and off of you. So like I said, I have that ironing board sitting next to my table, which is helpful. If you have a large table, that would probably be really good to use too. Not only to the side, but behind my machine. You want to try to get, you know, all the weight that you can onto something else, not pulling on that needle, and that way you don't have to support it with your shoulders either. We're about halfway around the first time. That is the only downside of adding that rickrack trim, is that you get to go around the quilt 3 times instead of twice. Okay, so I'm basically all the way around my quilt. I just need to make sure I join these binding ends together before I finish off this last little bit. It looks like this is pretty close to where I need to do the seam, so I'm just going to cut this one. This is how I finish up my binding, and everyone does it a little differently. This is just my process. So obviously, if you have a different way that works better for you, then please do that. I have 2 loose tails, basically, and they overlap. And I'm just going to fold one of them back and use my thumbnail to make a nice little crease. And I'm going to take the other one and do the same thing. Just so they butt up against each other, because that's going to be my stitching line for where I need to stitch these 2 pieces together. And I'm going to leave them just like that for right now. And I'm going to fold my quilt over, match up those 2 little fingernail creases that I did, and stitch a little to the left of that. So I'm going to stitch it a little shorter than what I marked, just because I found I will, you know, stretch that binding just a little bit to get that last little piece on the quilt. So it needs to be a little tighter than what I marked. And then I will stretch it out and decide if that's good or if I need to do a little bit more, and that does look good. So now I'm going to trim this seam because I don't want that extra bulk in there. And I trim it to basically the 1/4 of an inch like you would stitch. Now I'm going to go back up here a little before where I stopped, do a back stitch, and finish out the rest of my binding on this final side of the quilt. Alright, another final little back stitch, cut my thread, and now I get to turn the whole thing over and go around it again. At this point, you need to look at your bobbin and make sure you have enough thread, because I do not like running out of thread halfway through the path around the quilt. That is not a good time. And then I'm just going to make sure that when I'm pulling my binding around that it goes over that stitching line on my rickrack. And I noticed that there were a couple little rickracks as I was moving around that maybe it trimmed a little bit, and I'll address that as I'm working my way around the quilt. The last thing I have to do is just go around one more time, taking the binding around and just stitching it down. Now for that, I do switch feet. I like to use a joiner foot, and it looks kind of like this right here. It's got this little extra center point there, and I like that because I can run this little piece right there on the edge of my binding. I can set my needle over just a little bit and have a really nice professional seam all the way around the outside edge of my quilt for my binding. So see how I lined that little metal piece up right there? And then that's what I will do all the way around this quilt. And I do go slower on this. In fact, sometimes I even turn my speed down because sometimes I forget to go slower. And I'm just going to pull that binding around and make sure it covers up that stitching line. Now, in all actuality, if I would have been doing this without recording, I would have used a white bobbin and then you wouldn't have seen it. But just for you, I used the teal thread so you could see. I'm just going to work my way down to a corner, and I'll show you how to do a corner, and then we will wrap this up, and I will finish this up and have a show off at the end. Wow, I am not going to lie to you, that was a lot. I've made 4 trips around this quilt to get the rickrack and binding done. But it is gorgeous. I am very happy with the way it turned out. I am very happy with the way this turned out. It looks really nice. I love the rickrack trim and the binding, even though it's very subtle, but it's there and it will add a nice little texture to the outside border. The binding works beautifully with the center of the quilt. I mean, teal is my favorite color, so that always works in my mind. So this is great. I am really close to being able to hang this. The only thing I have left to do is just to hand stitch this sleeve down to the back of the quilt, and then I'll be able to run my curtain rod right through here and hang it on the wall. But I have a lot of stitching left to do, just some hand stitching, I guess, on the sleeve. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me again, for spending some of your time with me. I hope you're finding joy in your creating and crafting and everything that you do. Stay safe and healthy, and until next time, happy stitching.